see that your foundation is actually shown right here. And it tells us there's an 8-foot 8-inch distance right here from what would be the finished floor right here to the bottom of this structure right here. So that's 8 feet. So essentially that's pretty standard. And then down here what you're seeing is your footing and your cement cap and then your wall. This wall is 10 inches, this wall is 1 foot, and this wall is 10 inches. And you will have at different times different wall thicknesses in your basement, and this particular structure does. It does have that. So let me see if I can't open that up. Oh, is this the one? Foundation plan final? I think that's the one, yep. So here's our foundation plan. Okay, and the foundation plan looks like this. And by the way, there is a template for this as well. Now let's talk about what's going on here. First of all, as we take a look at this right now, we see that its overall distance is 42 feet. And if we go back and think about what else we worked on, that ties into what we've seen before. So that actually is a legitimate distance by 34 feet. So we have that. It's got this bump out right here, okay, which is what we saw before. It's got that section over to the right. And then there's a stairwell, and then there's a number of other things that are associated with it. Now notice that you do have different thicknesses here. You have 10 inches right here. This represents the actual wall. That represents the actual, what would be the block wall right there. So it would be a 10-inch thickness there. The blocks are actually 10 inches wide. Now this 18-inch dimension, who has an idea what that might be?
Footing.
Your footing. That'd be your footing underneath it, because it's always going to be a little bit larger, okay? So in this particular case, you got 10 inches and you got 18 inches. So that means it is 4 inches further on each side, thus giving support for that wall. So as we go along here, that wall ends here, and then you have a different configuration here. Let's take a look at that. Let's kind of like do a deep dive. So for this one, you've got a 5-inch wall, because this is an interior wall that actually goes out of a basement that actually goes out. So it's a 5-inch wall right there. And then you have an 8-inch wall that is underneath it. There's an 8-inch wall that goes underneath that. And then you have a 20-inch footing that goes along with that. And so that is actually how that's constructed. So that, you got to be careful with this. You can't, for this one, you can't just do the offset on this one, okay? Because you have different wall thicknesses all the way around. So you have to be careful of that. So watch your dimensions. All this works out. You just have to be careful. These are 6-foot sliding doors. And I gave you the center point right here. Okay, so basically coming off the edge, you'll be able to place those doors there. This is a 6-foot standard window unit, and this is another window unit right here. Over here, this is what is called a section, okay? A section indicator. And so this section indicator, or this call out where these double arrows are, what that's saying is this is the double A section, meaning that there is a drawing that actually shows us what's going on here. We're going to take a look at that. And this particular section is cut right here as if we sliced it from the top down, and then we took a look at it on the inside. And so as if we were slicing through a pie, and then we opened up and took a look at what was actually in that pie. So that's what that view is going to show us there. Now here, you've got a few other things. Like for instance, you got these arrows here. Now there's a few ways you can go about putting the arrows. I'll show you a couple. I'll show you at least one way, and then we can move on to other methods. Over here, we got a 10-inch, 18-inch wall again, and then you have these right here. You have footings right here, and then the red dashed line is a footing, and then you have the columns, which are in green. Okay, this right here is a beam that goes overhead. That is this beam is indicated with a cyan line right here that actually indicates where the beam will go, and the beam support goes right along there. And so that's something we're going to trace after we get all of our columns placed. And you see that the center points are indicated by these different dimensions right here. And you should have enough dimensions to get everything done here. If you don't, then let me know. This one is a little bit longer of a column. It's actually more like kind of an internal wall is really what it is. But this is actually right here, which gives support to the stairwell as well as the structure above. So that's an additional one. So that's a longer column type of member there. And then here you've got a 12-inch wall, okay, 12-inch wall and a 20-inch offset right there. 12-inch and 20-inch right here. So you're gonna have to watch this one and how that all works. Now, the other thing you see is there are dashed lines. Dashed lines are associated with the foundation. You have dashed line with the foundation, and also these right here, these footings. And so all these different dashed lines show up here. These notes right here that you see here are what are called leaders. And the leaders actually allow you to go ahead and to put a note with an arrow. And so if I take a look over this right here, a leader looks like this right here where you have a note and an arrow. So just to show you how those would go in, if I'm here, let me do a couple things here. I'm going to, as we saw earlier, every time you go into AutoCAD, you do a little bit of customization. So I turn my stuff on, and we're looking good there. And then other than that, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my menu bar. And then other than that, I'm going to dock my command line. Those are the things I always like to do to make life easier on myself. Okay, so I've got that. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to put in a leader. Now your leaders are right here. Your leaders are actually a note with an arrow on it. That's what they are. If I use a dimension allows me to dimension any particular item. So if I were to go ahead and grab this window here and this window here, boom, I've got a dimension there. I just put that in there. If I want to put in a leader, I go ahead and click a point and I drag it over, and I can go ahead and say, hey, this is a leader. All right, and then you click there, and then it got too tiny. I don't think. Okay, I didn't update this particular. I did update this template, but you guys, your template's updated. I'll show you the quick fix. I forget what I did before, but I went to here and I did a modification. I think I did this, I changed the content, change it to dimensions maybe. Okay, let's see if that looks better. And then let's go here, let's change that out. Alright. Now, okay, well, I'm not gonna worry about that for now. So we've got that. It actually should work in your drawing. If it doesn't, I'll show you how to tweak it, but I'm pretty sure the template I gave you a corrected template, and that should be good now. So you have these right here. For some reason, that just changed, didn't it? Let's see right here. Why did that change? That's kind of weird. Oh, okay. So I just did the overall change. Let me go back to what it was. And now it gets back to where it was normal. Okay. So we got that. And so anyway, when you're putting in a leader, it's going to basically ask you. The first thing it's going to ask you is where it starts. So you're going to start. The first thing you're going to put in is the actual arrowhead point. Let me give you guys some light. It's probably a little too dark in here. I want you to be able to take notes. And so, so what you're going to do is when you put in a leader, though, it prompts you for 2 points. The first point is going to be where you want the arrowhead to start, and then you drag it to where you want it to go to, and then you'll type in a note. That's how leaders work. It's not that complicated. You know, I know I'm showing this to you, and I'm probably over talking it. But now this right here, to do these arrows right here, you can do them in a number of different ways. I'll show you one quick way to do it. I'm going to make this layer current. All right, let's say I wanted to make an arrow. We talked about polylines. You guys remember when we talked about polylines, what they are? Did we talk about? Okay.